Hello, folks. Welcome back to Mindful Metal Jacket, the podcast for buddies. I don't know. Welcome back to the show. Thanks for listening to the show. Thanks for watching the show. I'm glad you're here. Many people are not here. Almost everybody is not watching or listening. So thank you for listening, tuning in. Make sure you subscribe. Hit that subscribe button on YouTube or wherever you're listening on podcasts. Leave a nice review. That helps. That goes a long way. Tell some friends. Spread the word. Post it on Reddit or YouTube or Twitter or Stitch or X or your ass. I don't know. Put it wherever you can put it. Let people know about this podcast. We're doing great things here, I think, having some really great conversations. Today's guest, no exception. We have Ali Macofsky, hilarious comedian. You probably know Ali. Maybe you don't. I don't know. You're about to. I think Ali is absolutely hilarious. I've known her for a while. I was trying to figure this out. I don't know where I met Ali. I think at the Improv. I think I did the Hollywood Improv, Joe Rogan's show. We were on. She hosted a while ago. It was quite a show. I think it was like Santino, Bert Kreischer, myself, Rogan, and Ali. That's something. It was a few years ago now. I think pre-COVID. Anyways, Ali is absolutely hilarious, and we had a really nice conversation. I can't remember what we talked about. It was a couple weeks ago, but it was good. I know that. We talked about, I think sobriety, parenting, some stuff like that. But I think it was interesting and funny, and I love Ali, and you should too. And if you don't already, follow her, check her out, go see her live. She's great. You can go see me live. Check out this website, punchuplive.com/Joe List. You can watch my special there. You can sign up for my email list, and you can buy tickets to upcoming shows. I got a bunch of fun shows coming up. DC Improv, November 17th and 18th. I just was reminded, I'm at the Pittsburgh Improv. It's some city, not Pittsburgh, but you get it. Pittsburgh Improv, I think November 30th, December 1st and 2nd. And then Tacoma, January 11th through the 13th. I love Tacoma. That feels like home to me, as you know, as you may or may not know. I'm out there a lot. I love it out there. Go check out the special on YouTube. Leave a comment, like, spread the word. Tell some friends. We're doing this organically, damn it. And there will be more Joe and Ron on Talk Movies. Of course, Tuesdays with Stories. There's plenty of places to see me. And there'll be something like Patreon coming up. It's going to be on punchuplive.com. Go over there. Check out that site. Peruse around. There's some good stuff. Soon I'm going to have some exclusive content on there. So go check that out. But before you do all that, keep watching, keep listening to this episode of Mindful Metal Jacket with my friend, hilarious comedian, Ali Macofsky. And remember to be kind to yourself, folks. If you're not, why would anyone else be? You know what I mean? All right, here we go. Let's take it away. All right, so go on. Okay, we're on. So
do you have like an intro? Like, do you do a song?
No, I'll
dance?
do an intro before.
Oh, Marin
I'll be like,
style.
Ali Macofsky is the best comic of all time.
Thank you.
And yeah. So anyways, you hate podcasts. You're the second guest in a row that doesn't want to be here, and I feel terrible.
No, I want to be here.
Yeah.
I did think about canceling for a second, but I was like, I like Joe. I want to do the pod. But I just, there's so many podcasts, and people are like, oh, do you want to come do? I don't. Unless I like really am excited about someone or I really like someone, I'm just like, I don't have anything to promote.
Right.
I'm just kind of like figuring out what I want to do with my hour. And
right.
So I'm like, I don't really, and I'm also a pretty low energy person.
Mm-hmm.
So I feel like at a certain point that you notice when the podcast starts going downhill, when I'm just like stoic and staring.
Yeah, now I'm so in my head. I mean, we're just starting. I mean, I feel terrible.
I'm excited to be here.
Oh,
I am.
Okay. All right, great. No, I just we had Colin Quinn on, the legend Colin Quinn,
Yes.
who openly hates podcasts. We've talked about it very much. And
but then you should be honored that he did yours.
I was honored, but you still feel this feeling of like, I'm so sorry. I know you hate this. I'm aware. It's kind of like when you're like dating somebody or with somebody that's like, oh, you've heard them say, I hate going down on somebody. And so then when it is time, I'm like, I'm aware that you hate this. I'm sorry.
I had that issue with my boyfriend recently. Not that it was like a situation where I'm openly like, yeah, I don't enjoy giving blowjobs.
Right.
But I had to kind of reframe it because I'm like, well, that sucks for him
Yes.
to have me just being down there. And he's like, well, she's doing this because she feels like she has to.
Yeah.
But now I'm trying to be more into it. I'm trying to be more...
Right.
Because I started going to a womb witch.
What's a womb witch?
She's this fairy woman who lives in the hills and she fingers me.
Oh, really?
Just one finger.
Oh, that's good.
Yeah, so it's not too crazy.
Now, is it more of like a in and out, or is it like a come here?
No, it's more of like, it's like mapping. She'll
Okay.
be like, this is this part. This is your A spot, your G spot. Who knew I had so many spots?
Wait, now I'm thinking you're serious.
And yeah, I am.
Oh, this is not a joke.
No, this is real.
I think you need to move to New York.
We have womb witches.
You should move to New York City
For what?
for not being in a place where it's acceptable to have a woman finger you.
No, I think there's people who will do it here, but they're not really like trained to do it.
By the way, I need to correct my statement. It's okay for a woman to finger you, but
Yeah.
a witch.
I
Like
mean,
from not a sexual relationship. I don't want to make it seem like here in New York we don't allow
no finger.
same gender relationships. But this is like a guru type of person?
I guess. I don't know. My friend referred her to me and said she's great.
And it's for...
I have issues with having orgasms.
Okay. And did she teach you how to do it?
Yeah, it's more about like being comfortable in my body and being present instead of like thinking about what else I have to do
I
and
have that.
dissociating.
Right. I have that often.
Yeah, and she'll be like, your trauma is stored here.
Interesting.
Yeah.
I mean, I have this with coming and urinating. I always talk about, I have a disconnect between brain and penis. Like when it's time to piss, I'm like, it takes me 10 minutes because I need exact silence. And it's the same with coming. Like if there's a noise happening somewhere or music, or my brain will literally go to like, shit, I fucking forgot to email my manager or whatever in the middle of sex.
Maybe you need a...
Witch?
Yeah.
To finger my ass?
Yeah.
To get in there and be like, oh.
I do wish that... I don't know if there's like an option for men. Because I feel like women are very like... I don't know. We're very like in tune with our bodies. And I'm sure there's men... But I don't know what you would do with a penis. They're just kind of there hanging out.
Yeah. It's weird. I guess you could pull on it, jerk it, wrench it, suck on it. That'd be really funny if I told my wife, like, I'm going to see a guru. It's a man. He sucks on your dick and tells you where the trauma is.
Yeah. It'd be cool.
I guess so. I don't think I'd love it. But anyway, so you're going.
I don't know if I love it either, but I am noticing that it helps, but it's very uncomfortable.
But she doesn't make you come? She
can.
Really?
We haven't gotten there yet.
I mean, this sounds like a racket.
It's it kind of is a racket. It doesn't seem real, but I feel very safe with her. And
is it expensive?
No, I mean, the price varies, but it's like maybe $100 an hour.
Okay.
And I'm there for maybe 3 hours.
That's a good deal. Now, can I go to witch school? Can I start fingering women for $100 an hour?
I'm sure there was a guy in Venice Beach who was doing it, but I don't trust a guy who just like really cares about women's vaginas.
Yeah, no.
I don't believe in that.
Yeah, well, that's good because I don't give a shit about women's vaginas. Not even my wife's folk, where my son will be coming from shortly. I'm about to be a dad.
Yeah, when's that happening? October?
October, like 20 something.
That's like right around the corner.
I know, we're like home stretch. It's crazy. She's huge. You'll see her tonight. Are you coming to this show?
I'm going to try to. No, I'm going to try to, but I'm supposed to go up at the stand at 9.
Yeah, that's
so I don't
trouble.
know if it'll work.
Yeah, you might have to bail.
Yeah.
Which is fine. It's like a very small show.
I really want to do it because I have new jokes and I'm like kind of trying to do them at my sets at the clubs. And it's just not.
Is your spot time 9?
Yeah. They said, I didn't think it would. This is probably boring for people listening, but I didn't think it would be at 9 because I think the show's at 9. But then last night they texted me my spots. They said 10:45, and the show started at 10. I was on at 10:45, so I'm assuming they want me there at 9.
Well, you might be able to move it back if you really wanted to do the spot. But also, if you don't want to do it, it's no sweat.
I'll text and ask.
But it's ladies' night over there. I got Isabel Hagen, Sarah Talamash.
Oh wow!
Possibly you.
All the gals.
It's all the guts because I'm a progressive. I'm an ally is what I am.
Yeah, you're good. You're one of the good ones.
I really am, folks. Right into the camera. You heard it here first. I'll show you how to come. Hi there, it's me, Joe List, host of Mindful Metal Jacket. That's right. And this episode is brought to you by BetterHelp. You guys, you know I love therapy. You know I love BetterHelp. You know I love you. That's why I want to help you get yourself some therapy. Sometimes it can feel like your own brain is getting in the way. Absolutely, all the time. Even right now, I'm like, is this ad read any good? Who knows? I'm always self-sabotaging my own happiness. I'm sure you do the same thing. That's probably why you're here. You need better help. You need therapy. You just need it. Therapy can help you figure out what's holding you back so you can stop working against yourself. BetterHelp's online therapy is incredible. You can talk to a licensed therapist through video chat, by phone, or even by message. Getting the help you need has never been easier. Folks, I sent this code to one of my close friends from high school. He's absolutely loving it. He's so grateful. He texts me all the time. There's a scooter going by. Annoying. That's why I need therapy. I'm going to therapy today. As soon as I'm done recording this, I'm going straight to my therapist's office. You know how much it means to me. You know how much we talk about it. It's changed my life. Get yourself some therapy. It's the best thing you can do for yourself, and it's never been easier. Just take a quick quiz to get matched with a licensed therapist. If you ever need to switch therapists, no problem. You can change anytime for no additional charge, no questions asked. Make your brain your friend with BetterHelp. Visit betterhelp.com/metal today to get 10% off your first month. That's BetterHelp, HELP.com/metal. BetterHelp.com/metal. Sorry, I had to say that to camera so it wasn't too offensive. But anyways, so you hate podcasts, you don't want a podcast, but you're doing this podcast. I appreciate it.
Yeah, well, just a couple of people had asked if I wanted to also do theirs, and I was like, no. Get me back on when I'm feeling like excited about talking about something.
See, it's interesting because a lot of people, when they come to, you don't know who's who. Like, some people are like, I'm coming to town. I got to do every podcast. Let me get on all the podcasts. So that's when I was like, that's why I always put a no pressure in there. I'm like, no pressure. Do you want to?
But then I'm also, I don't know you very well, but I know you well enough to know that I think even if there was pressure, you would say no pressure. No sweat, no worries, no pressure.
I probably would, but I can't imagine a situation, and certainly in this context, where I would be like, there's a lot of pressure.
Yeah.
I need to have you on the podcast. Like, there's not going to be no offense to you, there's no situation where I'm like, if I don't have Ali Macofsky on this podcast, we're fucked.
Yeah.
So I'm happy to have you. But I'm not.
Truly wouldn't have cared if I did cancel.
Yeah. If you texted right now, and you probably don't even want to hear this because then you're like, oh, I could be not doing this right now. But I don't know you well enough to know if you're a person that comes to town is like, I want to run around doing podcasts. Some people are like that.
I think the first few times I came to New York, I was like, I got to do it all. And now when I visit New York, I visit as though I live here and I do nothing during the day. I just kind of eat food.
Now, do you ever think about moving here?
Yeah, I did think about it, and then I have a boyfriend. I'm going to see how many times I can mention I have a boyfriend on the podcast.
Yeah, do it.
I have a boyfriend, and I don't think he could move.
Did I meet him? Was he at the store?
Yeah, you did meet him. Okay, he's a really tall guy.
That sounds right.
Yeah, he's just got like a generic white man face.
I always say this, it's hard to describe people. People are like, what did he look like? And I'm like, other than like glasses and facial hair.
Yeah.
Women, it's even harder because you don't have facial hair. It's like, I don't know.
We have different hairstyles.
I suppose so. You have hairstyle. But I often think that. I'm like, he's got a face.
It was nice when I had a shaved head because everyone was like, oh, the girl with the shaved head. And it really narrows it down quick.
I missed your shaved head period.
Oh, that's good. It wasn't great. The shaved head was cool, but the growing out part was really bad. I just had like gross, short, spiky hair.
Yeah, that takes time. I did when COVID started, I went mohawk and I had Sarah do it. And I didn't realize there was skill to doing a mohawk.
Yeah.
I was just like, just shave off the side. And it just really looked like Bert of Bert and Ernie fame.
Yeah.
It was like a real pineapple situation.
Do you have a good hairline?
I think so. A decent.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, I have a big forehead, but I'm not losing my hair.
No, you got good hair.
I mean, people think that I have this all the time. I try to do a joke about it. Maybe I did do a joke for quite a while about it. About people think that I'm losing my hair because I have a large forehead. But my hairline has always been back here. I'm not losing hair. It just started at the top of my head.
But I think if you grow out your hair and did a little like kind of bang situation, then you could blend out the forehead.
I'm not that self-conscious about it really, but people tell me sometimes, they're like, yeah, your hair sucks. You got stupid hair.
No, you have great hair.
I have big, full, lustrous
and you
hair.
got good color.
Thank you.
This baby's going to be perfect.
That's great. Great. You got great hair too.
Yeah, it's all right.
Yeah.
But I have this
long,
fucking
full.
red. Do you think, can you see it in the camera? Do you think my flaming red eyeball?
I think if you look that way, like your
I know,
eyeball,
it's really bad.
Because on the inside,
no, but it's also red on this side too.
Not as bad.
Oh.
The inside is egregious. I mean, I'm worried about
No,
it.
it's bad.
I didn't want to say anything. I've been like, so what do you think happened?
I don't know. This happens a lot.
You get...
Yeah, me and my sisters, we all have very sensitive eyes.
Interesting.
And then, yeah, I think maybe in my sleep, I'm just like itching my asshole profusely and then rubbing my eyes.
That's entirely possible. I like to itch.
I love itching my butt.
Yeah,
it
you
feels
get in there.
So good.
Yeah, there's sometimes when you itch your butt hole or crack that you can feel it in your dick. Do you feel it in your dick?
Yeah.
And I'm like,
I know
where
what
you
you
pee
mean.
from, though? You're like, oh.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's something about an itch. I'm a big itchy guy. We were talking about this before, too. I have whatever this is.
I think it's folliculitis.
And explain to me what that is, because I'm a big Googler of things.
Well, I just got it from using my dad's dirty ass fucking hot tub. God knows what he was doing in there, but he didn't balance the pH. And then I'm also kind of like a little bit of a dirty girl. Like, I'm not showering every day. I just, what for?
I shower every day because I like the whoosh.
And I think when I had a shaved head, I would shower every day. It was so easy.
I came with the shaved head.
It was so hard when you have hair. Then what? Now I have to put it up, wrap it up. I don't know. It's a lot.
Yeah.
But I think if you are using a steam room and you're not, but it seems like you shower, so maybe it's just a little rash.
I shower, but I also take very hot showers, which I was just talking to Luis Gomez, and he said that like really hot showers can do that too. I'm also a stressed guy. I'm moving. I'm having a child.
You're moving?
Around. I'm moving upstairs at the same building, but it's still a move to a different place. And I'm very emotional about leaving my apartment.
Wow.
Are you a sentimental person? Do you get emotional of like, this is my last time ever doing this or that?
Not with like moving or apartment stuff. But I remember I had this neighbor once, and I was young at the time, but this neighbor was also younger than me, and she posted on Facebook her getting rid of the couch. She said, I have so many memories on this couch. She was like a very like heartfelt, like as if someone had died about this couch, like a eulogy for the couch that was going away.
Couch is weird to me. That's a little more like a home is more natural. And for me, my apartment is very symbolic because it's the first place I ever got that I didn't move into somebody else's home. I mean, I've always just lived with other people, moved into their apartment. And it's a very nice apartment. It's not crazy. It's a 1-bedroom, but it's like, it was nice and redone. And I shot a film there, and I got married there, and we conceived our child there. And it's just, I just love it, and I'm very in tune to fucking feelings and
That's
all that
good.
stuff, and grateful for it. So
That's
it's hard to
nice.
move, but I'm staying in the same building. Which is
Yeah. I feel like that's nice to have those feelings, though. I feel like I can be so detached where I'm like, okay.
Yeah, and it's a weird thing too. What's hard is that I'm like never going back there. It's such a huge part of my life.
Yeah.
You key into the door and you have all these big moments, and you're like, I won't be in here ever again. And it's like the closing of a door. And it's the opening of a new door, of course. I'm moving to a nicer place, and that'll be great. Which sometimes do you find this sometimes where people don't understand what you're saying, or they don't want to empathize, they want to like solve a problem. So they're like, no, but it's good, but you're moving to a better place. You'll have great memories there. And I'm like, yeah, I'm not sad that I'm moving into, like, yes, but I also just want to take some time to reflect on how much this meant to me.
Well, have you seen the gentle art of Swedish death cleaning?
No.
It's this show. It's like Queer Eye, but Swedish people cleaning homes, and it's like very sentimental. It's this process where you kind of like organize and declutter and minimize your belongings. So that way when you die, you're not like giving a burden to your next of kin.
Right.
And so it just kind of like takes those moments to appreciate the things that you're getting rid of. Or like instead of keeping like 5 different quilts from your great grandma, you kind of just put them all together, like a little piece of each quilt, and like frame it, and then it's like you still get to have a piece, but it's not all this junk and bulk.
Oh, that's really smart. Well, what I've been doing is taking photos of my apartment from every angle,
cute.
Especially the angles that I see a lot. Like I was sitting where I watch TV, where I wake up. And so you just have the photos at least to be like, oh my God, remember that? That was fun.
You should like put them on little like Polaroid and then do a photo with all the Polaroids of the old place.
That's a smart idea.
I don't know.
Maybe I'll do that.
Yeah.
I got to go out and buy a Polaroid.
Wait, so now what if you become friends with the downstairs neighbors?
Well, I'm friends with everybody in my, well, that's the thing. Well, are you moving to New York? You should move to New York. Get your boyfriend to move to New York. You can take the place. Because we have an all comedians apartment building.
Maybe, yeah.
It has to be November.
Okay. I would like to have a place in both areas.
Of course. But, you know, I mean, that gets pricey.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know.
You're doing well, right?
I'm putting all my money into this vagina fairy.
Is that bad?
Yeah.
Can I do that? I feel like we don't know each other that well.
Sound effect.
Yeah. Do you ever have this with like comedians that you feel like, well, we're comedians, we kind of know each other,
Yeah.
and then you make jokes, and then you're like, was that horrible? Should I not have done that? I'm not saying that specific instance, but do you have that ever?
Yeah, even with people that I do know kind of well, sometimes I'll just say something where I'm like, I don't think they understood that I didn't mean that the way that I did. Like, did that come off weird? It's more of that.
Yeah, I've had a lot of those, and I've had that too, where you're just like, especially with women comics sometimes, which this has gotten people in real trouble, where it's like, oh, we're comedians, and then you make a joke, and then you're like, oh, was that bad? Because like you make like a sex joke or something, not like aggressive, but just like, oh God, I gotta fucking go home and jerk off and take a shit, and then you're like this, oh, was that horrible?
No.
You know
I
mean?
think it's only like when like gross fucking nasty comics say stuff like that.
Right.
Then I'm like, ugh.
I do have a rash. Well, I had a friend who will remain nameless, who's a comedian, who had a habit of telling everybody what he jerks off to, like socially. And I was like, I don't think people are doing that like as regularly as you are. Mm-hmm. I think that's not like, and it's never like this person. It's like, oh man, I always jerk off to fucking whatever, anal porn. And it would be like at a hang, like a living room hang. And I'm like, I don't think that's what people are doing.
Yeah.
But anyways, comics are
weird.
Kooky.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, I really brought it to a screeching halt here. Anyway, so I have a rash. You have a bloody eye. Are you a hypochondriac at all? Like, do you freak out about that? You don't seem that concerned about it.
No, because this is like so normal for me that it's just really annoying to have to like see people and be like, yeah, I look like I just got freaking jizzed in the eye.
Yeah, and a lot of people are going to tell you, they're going to say, hey, your eyes.
And then it's one of those things where I'm like, do I have to mention it every time, or should I just try and go with it? Like, I just was hanging out with a friend before this and I didn't mention it once. Mm-hmm. But now I'm like, I should probably like text him and be like, hey, by the way, I'm fine.
Yeah, he's talking to like his wife right now, being like, I just hung out with Allie and her eyes all bloody and she didn't even know.
But sometimes I'll like over explain things and I'm like, I don't know if I need to be, but this is bad. This is like very aggressive.
It's not crazy, but when you're looking straight on, I don't notice it. It's when you look off that, when you look
so
that
red
direction, it's the inside is quite.
But I'm not
red.
a hypochondriac, but I will like spiral, but it won't be necessarily like related to anything. Sometimes I'll just think that I'm going to die in my sleep.
Oh, wow.
That happened to me last night. I was afraid to go to bed.
Last night?
Yeah.
Oh, so you're like in it, but that's probably anxiety manifesting as fear of death, right?
Yeah, and even like with traveling, I travel a lot, and the more I travel, the more afraid I get of traveling. Interesting. Because I think like if I'm traveling a lot, my chances of dying in a plane are higher. Yeah. I understand. I don't have that, but I understand that. But and then I'll just be on loop. Like once I get the thought, then it'll just keep going throughout the flight.
Now, do you have OCD, or have you been diagnosed with anything like that, or anxiety? Because it sounds OCD-ish. Yeah, but it's not like debilitating in any way. Right, but it doesn't seem great. Yeah, I mean, not being able to sleep feels. But then I eventually like talk myself out of it and go to bed. So eventually you do sleep. But I do worry, like sometimes I'll just feel like I'm probably going to die tonight. Yeah, I have that. Well, I had that. Now not so much. But for years I had it, or I had like, this is like incredible growth to me that I have this thing, and I'm kind of like, I don't know. And I do have a dermatology appointment tomorrow, which I'm happy to like feel proactive. Do you ever feel that way as you get older? You make an appointment, you're like, I am really doing something.
Yeah, I mean, I used to like make fun of my like mom and my dad and grandma and stuff because they'd talk about the appointments they had as though they were going to clubs and parties.
Right.
You're like, oh, Tuesday, dentist.
But it does feel good.
But I get it. It's so fun. It feels very adult and like healthy, and I love doctors and dentists and all that. You
don't have like a crippling fear of it? Anxiety?
No, not at all. I've always loved going to the doctor and the dentist.
Really?
Especially the dentist.
This is blowing my mind. 'Cause that's like my biggest. I mean, now I've gotten much, much, much better. But I used to like fucking cry at the dentist. It was really bad. But I had a lot of dental work. I didn't go to the dentist for years because I was scared. And then I had like 3 root canals and wisdom teeth taken out all in like a year and a half.
Yeah, it's brutal.
But it was like really terrifying. But you have great teeth. I noticed that earlier. You have like.
I might have food in my teeth. I don't want to know.
But you have. You know, bright,
I had braces for
teeth.
6 years.
Oh, my Lord.
6 years.
Wow.
I mean, I think they were just milking me for my insurance, but the orthodontist would send us photos from his family vacation every year, and I'm like, I think we sponsored that.
That's wild. What years?
6th grade until my senior year of high school.
Oh, my God. Do you think that played like a role in your personality? It must, right?
Honestly, no.
Really?
Yeah, I don't think so because I felt like it was so common to have braces. Like I never felt weird having braces.
What? This is so interesting because I really don't know you that well. So you're not like a nervous, neurotic person at all? Not that I thought you were. It's not like I was like, this sucks. Yeah. I thought she was nervous and neurotic. But like to have braces for 6 years, or not even, nervous, neurotic might not even be the word, but like self-conscious or insecure?
No, I was definitely self-conscious about other things.
Right,
not necessarily, but senior year was when I was like, these need to come off. I kind of gave my orthodontist an ultimatum.
Right.
I was like, homecoming is happening, and I got nominated for homecoming queen.
Wow.
I didn't win, but
damn it. Where did you go to high school? Where
I went to high school in Orange County. I went to Los Alamitos.
Oh, so you're from California?
From California.
Wow, I didn't know. Let's go back to the beginning. I don't even know you, bro.
Yeah, I'm from Long Beach.
Is that right? The LBC?
Yes.
Wow. I spent some time there.
But then I went to high school in Orange County, or like all of my school was in Orange County. So I wish that I could like claim Long Beach more, but I feel like where you go to school really kind of factors in.
But Long Beach is Orange County.
No, it's LA County.
Oh, is that right?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah.
So what is the C in LBC?
Long Beach City.
Is it not county?
No, Long Beach City.
Oh, wow. Okay. On a mission trying to find Mr. Warren G.
Yeah.
But anyways, so you grew up there. Now, Orange County, is that like Irvine? I just did the Irvine Improv. That's Orange County.
That's Orange County. That's like way far. The Los Alamitos is like the last most northern part of Orange County right before you get into Long Beach.
Okay. So you're like kind of like an LA person in general.
Yeah. But it's like if I were to, it's almost like growing up in Jersey.
Right.
Where you're like, yeah, I'm kind of in New York, but not really. Like I remember like being in high school and when everyone got their license, they would like drive up to LA and that was like a big exciting thing. Like going to LA was still it felt like a totally different place.
So to drive from your hometown to the Comedy Store, how long is that? 2 hours, 90 minutes?
No. It's like an hour.
Okay.
Yeah.
Wow. So that's quite close.
Yeah.
And that's where you started doing comedy?
Yeah. When I started, I was living at home and I would do like 3 open mics in Orange County, and then I would do like 4 in LA.
Wow.
So I just kind of like split up my time throughout the week with whichever had more open mics in the night in a night. And then but then I would drive home at like 2 a.m. and just be so tired.
Right.
And I'd be like hallucinating on the highway.
Wow. It's fun. Those are like fun things to remember because I grew up in Whitman, Massachusetts, which is like 40 minutes south of Boston. And I would drive this long road, Route 18, which was like you get off the highway and like I live far off the highway. And it was like that long car ride home. And I remember just being like, I'm doing it, man. I'm really doing it. I did it. I went and did stand up. Now, you must have started young, right?
Yeah, I started when I was, I think, 19.
Okay. Because I also was just blown away a few weeks ago in LA. You did my show at the Comedy Store. And I was blown away to find out that you're like 25 years old or something.
No, I just turned 28.
Okay. But you're 28 and you've been doing stand up for how long? 8 years or something?
9 years.
Yeah, for some reason, I just thought that you had been doing comedy for a long time. For some reason is that you're extremely funny. You're very funny.
Thanks.
And successful.
Thanks.
But I thought you had been doing comedy like 15 years.
Yeah.
And you were 48.
Yeah. I feel that way.
I didn't think you were older. But I did think you were 33
more seasoned.
or 35 or something like that.
I also have 2 older sisters, so I think like pretty much my whole life people have always thought that I was older because I was always trying to like fit in with my sisters and keep up with them.
Right.
But yeah, I think that's the thing about like starting somewhere like LA. I think especially as like a young girl, it's like you kind of get more opportunities, which I think like kind of sped up the process of certain things.
Right, but you're also very funny. It's not like they were like, oh, we need a chick, fucking throw her in there. Yeah. It's like you're not like, you're a real comic. You're a good comedian.
Thanks.
And so what made you want to, I know this is such a cheesy question, but like, what was it, when did you decide like, oh, I want to be a comic? Or what, maybe not decide, but think that.
Yeah, I was in high school and I was watching a lot of those Laugh Factory YouTube videos.
Oh yeah, this is always mind-blowing to me, that like YouTube.
Yeah. And I was like,
God, weird.
I wasn't really like that familiar. Like some people are like, I grew up watching comedy special. I mean, I guess I did in a way. I always like kind of you shit on yourself a lot.
Yeah.
In terms of, I always kind of like, anyway, that's a thing that I have to work on. But I'm always like, I'm not one of those comics who like grew up loving comedy. But now that I think about it, I kind of was. Like I would always watch Last Comic Standing with my dad.
So fucking weird. Sorry. Yeah. It's like, it's always like the age gap thing is like so strange to me.
Yeah.
And Isabel Hagen is a good friend of mine. You know Isabel, right? She's about maybe she's 2 years older than you or something, or 3 years. But same thing. She's like, I remember discovering Louis on YouTube and being like, what? But I guess it's only a few years, they're 10 years difference. Yeah. But it's such a different planet. Anyways, sorry.
Yeah, my dad really liked comedy, but I didn't really realize it was like a job that people had. Like I was going to the Laugh Factory all the time. I was using my sister's ID to get in. And I remember I was there on like a new material night. Mm-hmm. And I was like, wait, why are they like reading off of a paper? I thought they were just like coming up with, like I was one of those idiots. You know, I just didn't know. It was all like magic and illusion to me.
Of course.
And so then once I figured that out, I was like, wait, that means that like if I write something down, I could potentially perform it. And so I was there and Dane Cook was performing.
Hell yeah.
One of my faves.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah, I remember my sister would pick me up from 5th grade and she would have his album on in the car. And it was like the funniest thing I'd ever heard.
I'm going to keep being this guy, but it's so crazy that you were in like 5th grade.
Yeah.
Because I was probably opening for him at that time.
Really?
Yeah, it's weird.
So cool. Yeah, I loved it. So then I was seeing him at the Laugh Factory and I'm like, man, that's the guy that I used to listen to on my way to school every day.
Yeah, it's a weird feeling.
Yeah.
I just had Colin Quinn in here and it was funny because I'm like, I remember watching him on Remote Control when I was like 7 years old.
Yeah.
And now he's just a guy that doesn't want to do my podcast.
Isn't it like surreal though? Because I mean, like talking to him and being like, oh, I'm like it's real.
Not only that, I always think this is funny because I've had this with Louis and Colin. It's like there's these people that you really admire and look up to, and I've gotten to a point where I see them calling and I'm like, I can't deal with that right now. That's like the ultimate, like, what a fucking crazy full circle of life. Yeah. Of like, man, that's the best comedian of all time. Yeah. And I just want to be even remotely close to that person. And then you just cut to being like, I'll deal with it. I'll call him later.
Yeah.
So that's something. Who are the person like you're closest with that you really looked up to that you're friends with now?
That's tough. Because I feel like the people who I'm friends with now are people that I only kind of knew about once I started doing stand-up.
Right. So but still, you must have been like, oh, wow, that person's great. Like, I didn't know Dane Cook as a child because I'm not 13 years old.
Yeah. I mean, I guess like, fuck, this is hard.
Well, I don't want to put too much pressure on.
I don't know, Santino, but it doesn't, I don't know. It just feels like my friend.
Another weird thing that happens is people that you're friends with and peers become your favorite comedians.
Yes.
Like Nate Bargatze and like Sam Morrill, these guys are like just peers of mine. I mean, Sam actually started quite a bit after me and is younger than me, but you're like, well, this is weird, but that's my favorite comedian.
Yeah.
Is like this person that like I work with.
Yeah, because I think you get to like see them in such a different way of like developing, and especially if you like watch Sam start, then it makes you like more excited about their comedy because you're like, oh, I've seen all the different like stages.
Yeah. And you're like, oh wow, you've really like exploded into yourself creatively. Yeah. It's impressive.
But yeah.
But anyways, so you started as a teen, and were you really nervous and excited? Did you think I'm going to start this journey, or was it like I'll just try this out, or what was the feeling?
No, it was like, so the first open mic I did, I was going to the Laugh Factory in high school. I was always going alone. I was using my sister's ID, and Dane Cook was performing, and finally I was like, I need to just ask how I can start doing this. So I went up to him after the show. I was like, I'm 17. I'm not allowed to be here. I don't know if I can, like, I want to start doing comedy. I don't know how. I don't know what to write about. I don't know what to do. I don't know where to go. And he was like, sorry, that was so annoying.
That's all right.
And he was like, there's an open mic here on Tuesdays. Go home, write 3 minutes of whatever you think is funny, and then just come back to the open mic.
Wow.
And whatever.
This is Dane Cook talking
This
to you?
is Dane Cook.
Wow.
The man, the myth.
Yeah, he didn't propose?
No.
Hello, folks.
But I do have a photo from that night, me and Dane, and I have my hand like on his stomach, and
oh, wow.
It looks like way too comfortable.
Oh, jeez.
I'm just really like
You
in a girlfriend pose.
Yeah, that's assault.
So I went home that night. I was fired up. I wrote like 3 minutes of the worst comedy you've ever heard. And I went, signed up, did the open mic. It was so bad. I have a video of it, of course. I recorded it.
Now that's mind-blowing too. That's another weird like generation thing that like you have recordings of you first doing stand-up comedy.
Yeah. Luckily, that's the only video. Well, before I started comedy, I was one of those people who would hit up comics that I liked and be like, do you have any advice? I want to do comedy. What's your advice?
Wow.
And a few guys were creepy. But then there were 2 guys who were really nice and helpful, Jake Weissman and Yasser Lester.
Wow, okay.
They're now more like on the writer side of things.
Yeah.
But Jake gave the best advice. This was before like clips and all that. But he was like, don't post anything from your first year of stand-up. Because you'll regret it.
Wow. It's such a different... I know I sound like old man Witherspoon. I got to stop saying this. But I'm like, the idea of like even being able to do that is crazy.
Yeah.
Now, when you were growing up, I want to really just dig into this mental health business because, first of all, Dane Cook, by the way, first person to ever tell me I need to stop drinking.
Oh, wow.
Fun fact. Yeah.
Well, the interesting thing is I went up to him maybe like last year or something at the Improv, and I was like, you're kind of the reason why I started comedy. Like, you gave me advice. I asked you about advice at the Laugh Factory, and I started that, that was the first time I went up, whatever. And then he just kind of like gave like a very impersonal speech that it seems like he's given a few people before that was just like, you got to perseverance, whatever. And I was just like, all right.
But nothing to...
Just what it was just like he kind of pressed play on the tape of I know, it's me. Yeah.
No, for me, he was like, I had opened for him, and then I went on like a booze cruise with my family.
While you were opening? Or
No, this is like separate. Like he had met me, I had done some shows with him, and him and I both started when we were 18 in Boston. He's exactly 10 years older than me. He started in 1990 when he was 18. I started in 2000 when I was 18. And we had chatted a little bit when I opened for him, and then I went on this booze cruise with a bunch of friends and family. And then it like docked in Faneuil Hall, which is where Comedy Connection is in Boston, or was. And then I was like, I'm going to stop by the Connection. And I just went and watched him. And I was like, hey, Dane, it's Joe List. I opened for you. And he was like, oh, hey, what's up, man? He's like, you shouldn't be here that drunk. You got to stop drinking. This is crazy.
Wow.
And he like, I remember being like hammered and thinking I was covering it, like not being weird.
Yeah.
And I was like, well, no, I'm not really, I went on a booze cruise tonight. It was open bar or whatever. And he was like, yeah, but you shouldn't be. Like, look at you. Like, you could be great, whatever. And he probably talked about himself a little bit. And not a negative way, but like when I was your age, yada, yada. But I remember thinking like, this guy's crazy. He doesn't even know me, whatever, what an idiot. But looking back, I'm like, wow, that was really nice.
Yeah.
That he was like, this is no good.
How long into stand-up were you when you opened for Dane?
4 years. I was 22. I opened for him in 2004 for the first time.
Were you like so excited?
It was insane. I mean, it was like the biggest deal of my life. It was July 1st, 2004, and July 3rd. I did the Cape Cod Melody tent in Massachusetts, and then the Hampton Beach Casino Bar. And those were big rooms. There was like in the round, like 2,500 people. Like the night before, I like took the night off. I didn't drink the night before. I was like, this is crazy. I called friends. It was like a huge deal. It was crazy. And then I opened from New Year's Eve, 2004, going into 2005. And he was like really fucking exploding or something. Yeah.
And did you do well?
I think so. Yeah. I think, I did pretty good. I remember the Cape Cod Melody Tent show. I got heckled. Some guy, I was doing pretty good, but I was nervous as shit. I was 4 years in, and some guy went, "Where's Dane?" And I had a very good response, I thought. I stopped and I was like, he's in the back. There's like a green room back there. He's just hanging out. He'll be out here in like 10 minutes.
Yeah.
And everyone went like, yeah, woo. But it did feel a little bit like, he's trying, this kid.
Yeah.
I had some material. I mean, I was pretty good. I was good enough to get asked to do it, but I was scared shitless. You know?
That's so exciting.
Anyways, now I feel bad you're like interviewing me.
No, I'm curious.
Let's get in there. Of course you're curious. You got a woman fingering you. Hello, folks. My generation, curious meant...
Sexually curious. Yeah.
Did you know this?
That was a big thing by curious.
Yeah. Yeah, he's curious. Did you know, I just learned this. My nephew is 15 years old. He told me boys don't wear jeans in high school. None. And if you do, it's because you're like gay.
Wait, what are they wearing?
Like warm-up pants, sweatpants, shorts.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. Yeah, you're younger than me. That wasn't... Men wore jeans in high school, right?
When I was in high school, it was very popular because it was like the swag era.
What's swag mean?
Swag was like, I don't know. It was like, there was like this dance, like Soulja Boy was very swag.
I'm
the
like
guy who does the, anyway.
I feel like I'm like your uncle. I feel like I'm 75.
Uncle Joe. Everyone was wearing skinny jeans. Guys were wearing skinny jeans.
Right.
A specific kind, not every guy, but it was like pretty cool to wear skinny jeans.
Well, jeans are out now, which blew my mind because when I was a kid, if you wore sweatpants, you were a scrub. That meant you were like poor.
Yeah.
That was like, that's embarrassing.
Mm-hmm. But now like everyone's into like Nike, like athletic wear.
Yeah.
So it still is kind of like expensive. Like you're paying a lot to look bad.
No, I guess so. But anyways.
I guess it's the thought of trying. I feel like when you're especially a young guy, I don't know, I could be totally wrong, but I think in a guy's brain, if they try any amount to like improve their look, it's gay.
Yes. It's still like
so
that.
I imagine like wearing jeans is like a little bit too thoughtful and might be a little curious.
Yeah, I think so. That's the deal. And I still have that built in me. It's why I wear a t-shirt and the same pair of jeans every day. And
do you do
sneakers.
any skincare? Because guys are like afraid of skincare.
I'm going to have to. I have a fucking disease on my arm. Look at this.
It doesn't look bad.
It looks like it's got...
Is it itchy?
Better. It was itchy earlier.
Yeah.
But not too bad. But I do a little bit of moisturizer, but I don't do any real shit.
Yeah.
We got to get back to you. We got to get in here. We got to find out what makes you tick.
Oh, God.
Really get in there, you know?
Yeah.
Were you depressed as a kid? Were you sad? Really?
Oh, yeah.
Are you still depressed? Do you deal with depression?
Yeah.
Currently, right now?
Yeah,
this podcast,
moment,
am I really bumming you out right now?
No, but I was definitely I was a sad little lonely kid, but for no reason. There must be some
reason, yeah.
There's a reason. I think
Don't discredit your feelings.
My parents got divorced when I was young.
That's huge, traumatic.
Which is big.
How old?
I was 5.
That's horribly traumatic.
I think it's better.
Really?
I mean, I don't know, but I think it's nicer having them divorced young than living this life thinking it's all a lie. I feel like when you're an adult and they get divorced, it's like, well, then what was all that?
I guess so, but 5, I mean, that's your formative years. 0 to 7 are your like real formative years.
Yeah, and then I have 2 older sisters who are like 7 and 5 years older, so I was always kind of too young to like do what they were doing.
Right.
So I was kind of left out a lot, but not on purpose, and no one's fault. So yeah, I think I was just kind of roaming around, a little lone wolf vibes.
Right. And what do you remember your parents sitting down and being like, we're getting divorced?
No, I don't have a recollection of that happening. I just remember being kind of excited that now I would have 2 homes, 2 holidays.
So a lot of the trauma probably is subconscious.
Yeah, also my mom's an alcoholic, so just kind of dealing with the ups and downs of that and the instability.
Is she still actively drinking?
I don't think
is she gonna hear this?
Yeah, she'll listen to this.
Really?
Yeah, she listens to everything I do. She's my number 1 fan. I love
wow.
her. She's very supportive.
Oh, that's fantastic.
But yeah, she's a little she might be active. Who knows?
Right.
I don't know.
I don't want to put you in a bad position
her.
here. I mean,
no, it's all right.
Miss Macofsky.
She says I can say anything I want about her.
Wow.
She loves comedy, so she's always very much like, anything I've ever done or said, you can use it.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's very supportive.
So yeah, very supportive.
But it must have played some role
for sure.
At some point.
For sure. But yeah, I mean, I was just kind of a loner, but I had friends. I would just like choose to do things alone. Because I think I also thought that I was like better than everyone, but also not.
Yeah, it's a weird thing. Like a lot of people in general, but comics particularly have ego and horrible self-esteem at the same time, which is a weird thing. I always use this, I don't know if it's a metaphor, but this feeling of like when you're in a relationship, the whole time you're in a relationship, you're like, what is this person doing with me? Why would they be with me? I'm a piece of shit. They probably hate me. They probably just feel bad for me. And then they break up with you and you're like, you fucking think you're finding someone better than me?
Yeah.
Are you kidding? Which I feel like kind of sums up that feeling of like, you think you're the best and the worst at the same time.
Yeah, I was just like, no, I'm smarter than everyone.
Right.
I get it. They don't really get it how I get it. But then I was like, and they all probably hate me and think I'm a loser. Yeah,
that's like the real formula for comedians, because you have to have some amount of hubris to think like, I can go tell these people something that's going to make them, they're going to enjoy hearing from me.
Yeah.
But there also has to be an insecurity that you're searching for some kind of, what do you call it? What's that word? Validation.
Uh-huh.
So what about your father? Was he around? Nice? Do you have a relationship with him?
Yeah, he's just like an old dude, you know? He's very much like a dude, always kind of... I had a lot of like female figures in my life because my parents were divorced. When I was living with my dad, there'd be a lot of like really nice neighbor women and local women, and then come to find out my dad's boning all of them, and that's why they're pulling lice out of my hair.
Oh yeah,
it's
that's very sweet,
It's because my dad's piping them down.
Yeah, that's nice. Sounds like he's a good guy. Sounds like me. Bringing in different bitches, fucking them. That was sarcasm.
You're a womanizer. Everyone on the scene knows it.
That's my interesting side topic. When you hear womanizer, do you think that's negative, neutral, or positive? That's how I felt.
Yeah.
There was a guy I was in. Now I'm itching my arm. I just did a show with 2 comics, both men, MC and a feature. And the feature called the MC. He said, "You're a real womanizer." And the MC was very offended. And the feature was like, "No, that's not an insult. You're just someone that likes women and has sex." And then it started a debate. Because to me, womanizer is bad. That's like somebody that's like lying and shifty, trying to fuck everybody. And so I started texting people, and I was surprised by how many people think that's like neutral. People
were you
like,
texting guys about this?
No, I was texting women.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah. I know a lot of women.
Good for you.
But I a couple of guys, but mostly women. And a lot of them were like, "No, I don't think so. I think it just means you have sex a lot." Yeah, but I think it's part of the sex positivity movement.
Yeah, no, I'm on your side with that. Where I'm like, I don't know what the word would be for that's more neutral, but to me, a womanizer is someone who kind of puts boning women first. So they're kind of putting other things that are important to the side in order to gain maybe sexual access.
A coxman? Is that more neutral? Is that more positive?
That sounds way more aggressive.
But a womanizer to me, is like lying and shit just to get in the like, hey, yeah, I play baseball and whatever. I play for the Mets, or whatever. I have money. I'll take you to Tahiti. Just trying to get laid. Anyways, was your dad a womanizer? Do you think?
Oh yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
And is he supportive? Does he come out to shows?
He's supportive, yeah, but he's supportive when it's convenient for him. He like shows people at work my stand-up videos, and he loves
sweet.
bragging about me. But if I'm like, hey, will you come to the show? He's like, too late. I'm tired.
Right.
Which I understand.
I mean, it's sweet that does he say he's proud of you? Do your parents say they're proud of you?
Yeah, definitely.
Wow, that's really nice.
But my dad is very much like, work harder.
Right.
He's proud, but he's like, come on. He's like, if I tell him I'm doing a show, he's like, are you doing new material on the show?
Wow. Do you think you work hard enough or could work harder?
I think I work hard, but I could work harder.
Yeah, that's kind of what I have. It's a weird thing. I'm just constantly like, do you ever have this like where you're like, in my mind, I'm like, Jesus Christ, how long have we been going? What time did we start?
We started at 4:10 or 4 maybe 18, I want to say at the latest.
4:10 or 18? That's a big one.
I don't know.
That's like 10% of the show difference.
I can't remember if I picture an 8 or just one big 0.
Well, whatever. We'll go for a couple more minutes. I don't want to keep you.
No,
I know you
fine.
didn't want to do this in the first place, and you don't want to come to my show.
I'm fine.
You want to blow everything off. Because you need to work harder. No, but I have this all the time where I'm like, I'm not working hard enough. People are like, well, you've done all this stuff and you did special and all that. But you're like, right, but I'm the only one aware that I'm putting in minimal effort.
Yes.
Like, no one else could know what I know.
Yes.
And that I'm writing a joke and I'm like, it's good enough. That works. I'll move on to the next thing. Or I'm not listening to sets as much as I could or whatever it is. But my therapist reminds me, it's like, maybe you are working as hard as you are capable of working.
Yeah.
Like, it's like, you want to do big, great things, but it's like, maybe this is the best you are capable of. And so I go back and forth.
Or that you want.
Right.
It's like if you potentially worked as hard as you think you should, that would get you the life that maybe you don't want.
Right. No, I've had that before where you compare yourself to like, oh, look at what these people are doing. Look how successful they are. But then you're like, you look at their personal lives and you're like, well, I wouldn't want that.
Yeah. And I think, like, also we're just extra hard on ourselves.
Yes.
So I think that definitely plays into it. Where, like, even if maybe we were working harder, we would still feel like it's not enough.
Right. Yes, we're not good at being satisfied. I have that all the time. I think that comes from my parents, who are always... My parents never sit with their feet up and watch a movie or a game. No, my mother's like... type A, hyperactive, always cleaning, working, running errands, calling somebody. She's not a relaxed person. So I have that too. It's like it's learned behavior that I'm like, I should be doing something more. And if I'm watching a game, I'm like doing push-ups in between during commercials, or I'm like, I should try to listen to a set while I'm watching this. And
interesting. Yeah, my parents are that. They're very feet up people. Just like,
well, Southern California.
Big old chillers.
Interesting. Now, do you feel like you're a very ambitious, or are you a very ambitious person?
Yeah. I mean, how would you define ambitious?
Like, are you thinking like, well, I mean, we talked about earlier, like, do you come to town, you're like, I got to go get on the best shows and do as many spots as possible or write as much as possible or
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, to an extent, I'm very much like, I want to utilize, like, if I'm in New York, I want to like really do as much as I can. I think, but at the same time, I think I understand that I don't necessarily need to do that. Like, that won't necessarily help me in certain ways if I'm doing every single spot that is presented to me.
Right.
Like, at a certain point, I'll just be so stressed about making it to the other spot that I'm going to have mediocre sets because I'll be performing worrying about the next show. This
is what I always feel like with people, because sometimes people are like, I'm doing 4 spots tonight or 5. And I really, Gary Gulman was the first person that said it's like, it's quality of spots, not quantity. Because that's how I always felt, that running and getting in the cab. I have more water.
Oh, yeah.
I can do this.
Oh,
I mean, it touched my mouth, but I'll pour it
okay.
in. That's all right, right?
As long as I don't get some nasty ass rash.
I mean, I have genital herpes, but not mouthy herpes. Yeah, it's all over me. covered in it.
Cool. When did you get herpes?
And I had warts too. I'm no one-trick pony.
You had all kind of bumps on your body.
I got it in 2010.
Was it fun? Was it worth it?
No, it sucked because...
I feel like no one ever gets herpes like from a time that's like really cool.
Well, it was cool, but I got in my head. It's like we talked about earlier. I just got in my head. But I also am not 100% sure. There might have been two different people I got it from. But one person... who was someone I really had a deep feelings for and was like, had a crush on. And it was like years later, we finally were hooking up for the first time. And I was really into her. But then in the middle of the sex, I started thinking like, oh, am I stupid? Because she told me she had herpes, but we had sex anyways. So I didn't even get to be fully present or enjoy it. And I'm also somebody, this is again, like, psychology, I can never fully enjoy something because I'm like, is this the only time this is going to happen? I had a hard time being in the moment back then. So ultimately, I didn't enjoy it as much as I should have.
Yeah.
So, yeah. But
I guess, I know someone who got it when they were on a trip abroad, and that's kind of exciting.
And they brought home some like souvenir. European herpes.
Yeah.
Different flavor.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's not the end of the world. What are you going to do? Herpes is a nice thing because you can't, once you have it, you don't have to worry about it. It's very easy to accept because you're like, okay, well, And
it seems like pretty manageable.
It's manageable, yeah. You take medicine, and every once in a while you get an outbreak, but it's not too crazy. Yeah. So no herpes for you? Nice and clean? Nice.
No.
Good for you.
Which is shocking. I really was, putting it out there for a while.
I got a lot of STDs, I think, because I have a very... innocent face. People think I'm not like someone out fucking a lot.
Yeah.
I feel like any woman that ever had sex with me without a condom thought like, this is probably the only time he's ever done this. I have that vibe. And so I ended up fucking really a lot of people unprotected. Yeah. Getting a lot of diseases.
But I also think a lot of people just have unprotected sex. I feel like it's a lot more common.
Well, a big thing for me also was my fear was always getting somebody pregnant, coming inside a person. And I was on Paxil for years for depression and anxiety. And so my thing a lot of times is like, I can't come. So you don't have to worry about that. I don't come. Yeah. It takes me 50 minutes to masturbate.
See, I've said this a few times before, and every time I say it, it feels really weird to say, but I've never let anyone come inside of me.
Ever?
Yeah, I'm like afraid of it.
Wow. So do you not use birth control?
No.
It's no birth control.
No birth control, no condoms.
And you just say, don't come in me?
Yeah, I go, my stomach's fine.
I mean, but I hate to be this guy, but you can still get pregnant that way.
Yeah, but I don't, I don't know. I think I'll try it this year. This year I'll do it.
You'll try it?
I'll let my boyfriend shoot it in
Just dump right in there.
Yeah, and then I'll just maybe take Plan B the next day. I've never done that.
Or you could get an IUD. You could get on the pill.
No, I don't want to. It fucks with your hormones.
Yeah, some people get really fucked up on it. And I think it's quite painful, actually. Just for like a minute.
The IUD scares the F out of me.
It's fucked up. And yes, Sarah said, I think getting it in and taking it out was extremely painful, even just for a few minutes, but still.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's so painful. And I was on birth control at one point, but yeah, I just felt crazy.
Yeah, right. Yeah, well, be careful. Unless you don't care about having a kid or care about getting the Plan B business.
That's the thing. I was like, I don't want to take Plan B, but maybe just to check it off the list.
Yeah, well, you also have time. I mean, you're a young person. It's not like you're dying.
Yeah, who knows? Maybe in my sleep.
Oh, boy. So when you're a kid, going back to your child... You got depressed. I mean, did you know how to deal with that? Did you go to therapy? Have you been to therapy as an adult, as a kid?
Yeah. My mom had me go to therapy when I was younger, but I didn't really understand the concept, and I've always been kind of closed off. So I never, they would be like, how's your day? And I'd just talk about, very surface level stuff. I would never let it get too deep or serious.
Yeah.
So it wasn't really helpful to do therapy, but now I do therapy. And I like it, but I need to do more because right now I'm only in couples therapy.
Oh, okay.
But I love my couples therapist.
Now, how long have you been with your boyfriend?
For almost 3 years.
Okay. And was that something you just wanted to improve the relationship, or you guys were fighting, or what?
No, we
happened?
weren't fighting. It was like, I have never been in a long-term serious relationship.
Mm-hmm.
I've always been like, I'm kind of over them. I'm going to break up with them.
Right.
I've always been the one to break up. It's never been longer than like 6 months. So when I started seeing my boyfriend, we were together for maybe like a year and a half. And I was like, this is crazy. Like, this is like a serious relationship, and I can see it being a long time.
Yeah.
So I might as well like get tools to like make it last and not like sabotage it.
Right.
So that's why we started. And I love the couples therapist is so good.
Really?
But it's like, yeah, it's like annoying that I have to be with my boyfriend to like see her.
Well, you could probably see her on your own.
No.
Really?
Yeah.
Why? So do you have to just go and do your own therapy and he's just sitting there?
Well, she just does couples therapy. Like, that's her thing. Just couples. But sometimes if there's like a scheduling error, we get to do one-on-ones, which is great. But I need like an individual therapist.
Is this a funny sketch idea? Cuckold's therapist.
Ooh.
And then like this is the guy fucking the guy's wife, and then the therapist is like, how do you feel right now? And he's like, okay, I guess.
I like that.
I don't know.
That's what I'm going to do with my vagina lady. My boyfriend's going to come to the next session and watch her finger me.
Wow. That's fun.
We'll see.
You
it
don't
might
need
be
couples
weird.
therapy after that.
Yeah.
I'm weirded out by this thing. I really thought it was a joke. That's how weirded out I am by it.
It's so cool. She's like a vagina psychic.
And when she's in there, is she saying like you're gonna win money? Or, like, I mean, you're gonna come into some money? You're gonna do the Tonight Show?
No, it's just very much like she's just very calm, and she just puts just one finger. And it's kind of like, I mean, I guess she does a lot of, I was asking her, I'm like, do most people just come here to like have you finger them? And she's like, no, I deal with a lot of like prolapsed uteruses. And
Do you do bits about this?
not yet. It's too new. So
Yeah.
I'm like trying to figure out what's funny about it. But do you feel that way where like something should be like comic gold, but
Yeah.
it takes me like months.
Yes, I feel exactly that way. I have this
Yeah.
all the time. Like most of the bits I've done about things happened way before. Because in the moment, it's either traumatic or dramatic, or you're just still, what do you call it? Computing what it was or something like that. So I have a lot of bits that happened 10, 15, 20 years ago.
Yeah.
And a lot of stuff like that it's like a story I've been telling for years. I also have a hard time recognizing bits.
Yes.
Like, there's stories I told for years that finally people were like, why don't you do that on stage? And I'm like, it just didn't occur to me because I'm an idiot.
Yeah, I'm the same way. I don't necessarily like realize what's funny, but a lot of times like jokes will come from me just like talking about something mundane.
Right, same.
And then people laughing and me being like, oh yeah, I guess that is kind of weird and funny.
Well, this is why hanging out with comics is so good, because comics are the ones that are always sort of registering like, oh, that would work.
Yeah.
Because I struggle with that. But anyways, now what about drinking? You were a big drinker? Yes?
Yeah, I was drinking a lot. Well, I was in a high school relationship where I wasn't drinking at all. It was like very boring. We didn't really do anything. So I kind of like isolated myself. I didn't have friends. I didn't go out. I just hung out with like my high school boyfriend. Yeah. And then once we broke up, I was like, oh my God, I need to catch up. I've like missed out on all these things. So once we broke up, I like really went crazy.
I was similar because I didn't drink all through high school.
Yeah.
So then afterwards, I was like, oh my God, I should have. That was stupid. Same thing. Let me pick up to where you guys are at.
I'm sure if I was drinking during that time, it would have been the same thing. Like, I can't imagine I would have had any sort of like composure.
Right.
Or self-control.
Now, how long did you drink? Because you're sober now, right?
I'm sober now, yeah. So I started drinking like in 8th or 9th grade.
Wow.
More 9th grade, but then I was in this relationship for 2 years. So then I really started drinking like senior year of high school.
And you drank till when?
So I guess I was drinking from like 16, 17, 18, 19, 20. Oh, only 4 years.
Wow.
Yeah.
And were you drinking when you were doing comedy at all?
Yeah, when I first started doing comedy, I was drinking. I only drank once before I performed, and that didn't feel good. I felt like everyone was laughing at me and not with me. So then I was just mostly drinking like after open mics or shows.
Yeah, when I first started doing stand-up, I wasn't even really drinking yet. I started both things right around the same time, but I was like, I'm going to be a comedian. I'm not going to drink before a show. And then it was very shortly, I was like, well, I'll drink a little bit before a show.
Yeah.
And then I went to like, let me see how fucked up I can get for this show.
Yeah.
So that was, But
yeah.
you're sober now a long time then.
Yeah, I'm coming up on like 8 years sober.
Wow.
Which is crazy.
That's very impressive.
Yeah. But yeah, I mean, I definitely like did enough even though it was only like 4 years of hardcore drinking.
Now, were you like, what did you get into trouble? Were you like a depressive drink at home person, or did you go crazy? Did you run around fucking everybody? Did you run around breaking everything? Did you steal? Arrested? What are we talking?
I mean, I sometimes I would drink alone. I was like living in my dad's house, and I'd like sneak a beer in from the fridge, a few beers, drink them alone in my room.
Sure.
But mostly I was just like party. Like especially in college. I only went to school for like a year, but I stopped going to classes like a month into college. I hated it.
Right.
So I'm like living on campus and just partying all the time and just like getting so fucked up, and I would like just always make myself throw up so I could drink more.
Oh, hell yeah.
Just kind of clear out my stomach.
Yeah. That's like your cocaine.
Yeah.
Like that's why people do coke, so they can keep drinking.
Yeah.
But instead you were like, let me just
I'll
barf.
throw up.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was so good and it worked so well. And so I would just drink so much and I would hook up with so many people.
Yeah.
And it was so gross. And then I crashed my car in a blackout.
Wow. Hell yeah. So
Yeah.
you got after it.
Yeah, really. Yeah.
Yeah, good for you.
Yeah.
Because there's nothing worse than like when you get sober and you're like, well, I don't want to deter people from getting sober. They don't have a great story. But there's like that feeling of like, you meet people that are like, yeah, I just kind of drank and I was sad. But then you're like, oh, I want those good fucking stories. Like you broke shit, you piss people off.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like my story is not that great. I feel like a lot of times people are like, why are you sober? But it's also like the next morning after drinking that much, I would just be so miserable and empty and be like, who am I? What am I doing? And then just that night be like, okay, I'm doing it again.
Yeah, that was the thing for me is it wasn't necessarily like my bottom is not some crazy thing. I mean, I got herpes and I shit in a girl's shoe and all that stuff. But like for me, it was just that feeling of like, what the fuck am I doing? I hate myself and I think everyone's mad at me.
Yeah. Yeah,
That
just
feeling.
so much like despair.
Yeah. So that don't you feel like with not drinking, no matter how bad stuff gets, you feel like, well, it could be way worse. It was worse when I was doing that.
Yeah, I mean, my friend, I love this. It's she said this in a meeting once, and I just have thought about it ever since. It talks about like in the big book of whatever. It talks about like this incomprehensible demoralization.
Mm-hmm.
Like when you're drinking, getting fucked up, it's just incomprehensible demoralization. She's like, now that I'm sober, I just have like very comprehensible demoralization, which I think is great.
That's a title.
Yeah.
Comprehensible demoralization.
It's like folks. When I fuck up, it's like I'm very aware of it and I can like accept it for the most part.
Yeah, it's a lot easier and you're never like burying yourself with fuck upness. It's kind of like one thing that you're like, I shouldn't have said that. Let me go apologize or whatever.
Yeah.
Whereas, back in those days, it was like I did 50 things. I remember when I was drinking, I would always take like an inventory of like, okay, so those 7 people I was with last night, they hate me, but I wasn't with Tom last night. Let me call Tom because I bet he's cool. And then you'd call him and be like, hey, we're cool, right? And then you'd fuck it up with him or whatever.
See, I do the opposite where I'm like, I'm going to hang out with the people who I think hate me and hope that, I'll turn it around. I'll just really charm them.
Yeah, that's not bad either.
But then they probably didn't even hate me in the first place. And now I'm just putting on a song and dance to be like, do you guys like me?
Well, that's an important thing to remember in life is that no one's thinking about you as much as you think they are.
Yeah.
And also that everybody's also completely in their head. That is one of the great tools of life is to remember that whoever you're bumping into, they're having a fucking nightmare in their head at the exact same time.
Yeah.
So we have to wrap it up. I just realized we're like
Fine.
overtime. I'm renting.
You're
this
the one who
studio.
wants me to get out of here.
No, well, I rented this space, and we're overtime.
Okay.
And I can't. You have to contribute. You have to pay to be on the podcast.
Yeah.
Well, thank you for doing the podcast,
Yeah.
even though you hate. I had 2 guests today that don't want to do podcasts.
I'm glad that I'm in the company of Colin Quinn.
You are 2 legends.
Yeah.
The big 2. They
People
call it.
call me the female Colin Quinn.
Well, plug some stuff. Where I know you said you don't have anything happening
I'm
right
touring.
now. But yeah.
And that's enough. I'm touring. I'm on the road. Go to AllieMacofsky.com/shows. That's it.
Yeah, you're always running around doing things.
Mm-hmm.
And do you have a podcast yourself?
I'm doing one, but I don't actively have one right now.
Oh, wow. Okay.
But if you want to listen to some old episodes of the Resting Bitch podcast,
Check it out.
check it out.
I'll check it out. I won't check it
You
out. I
won't
don't know
check
why
it
I
out.
said
You're
that.
not
Yeah,
gonna
why would I
check it
say
out.
that? I'm not going to listen to
No.
a podcast. I listen to all like mental health podcasts, which this is one.
Yeah.
Allie, thanks so much.
Thank you.
Appreciate it.